Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another video. If you guys have never been here before, my name is Doug Wegner. I'm a professional fishing guide throughout the summer, and in the winter I hang out in Canada with my wife and we go lake trout fishing. I make some videos for you guys to watch. There's some informational stuff here, there's just entertainment stuff here. My wife's more the entertainer than myself, but today we're going to be getting after some lake trout through the ice. I just got out here. I'm tying on probably one of my favorite trout lures, a number 7 jig and wrap from Rapala. And we're going to drop this thing down, see if we can get after some trout here. We got a little company joining us this afternoon. All right. Got one on me instantly. Big mark too. Got him instantly as soon as I dropped down. That was sick. My freaking bait hadn't even got to the center of my deucer yet. So what happens with these jig and wraps is, what's really cool about them is, in an ice fishing scenario, you're always battling that you're in such a vertical position, right? Because you can't make a cast, there can't be any movement from left to right. It's all vertical. With a jig and wrap, what's really cool is that fin on the back allows it, when you snap it, the bait hooks off to the side and then it comes back, and it just makes these big circles. So you actually get some movement left and right below your hole when you're fishing like this ice fishing. You're in such a vertical position. And so what just happened there is, this is my first drop. I just dropped down, and what happens is when you let it fall, it does these big circles, right? Because that fin on the back, that tail, is creating that bait to do these big circles and slowly spin down. When that's happening and that bait's going down, it's not always right perfectly in your cone angle, because it's kind of off to the side one way or the other. So that bait was, I couldn't see my bait yet because it was so far off to the side. It was coming back to center, and then I saw this big mark. I was like, well, that's bigger than my bait is. So just dropped down and instantly, and I don't think it's a small one either. A little too loose on the drag. That was so cool. First drop of the morning. We're just coming up on our major. I was worried because I was running a little, I overslept a touch this morning. Here it comes. Not a giant one, but he just freaking munched that jig and wrap. Right gill plate's where I want to be, right there. Boom. Not a long one, but he's got some meat on him. And here's something really interesting too. If you look, that one treble had him a little bit, but that fish is actually hooked and the nose hook of the jig and wrap. And I know some people that fish jig and wraps cut off that nose hook because sometimes they'll get caught on the edge of the ice when you're fighting your fish, and then you can lose your fish. But I personally like to keep all the hooks on them. But that thing's just a little porker. Awesome way to start the morning. First drop, 10 seconds into fishing, we already got one. Wow, crazy. All right, let's get him back, because we are, I say, in our major. See you, buddy. Woo! Oh, my cameras aren't even quite at the right angle yet. That's crazy. That happened that fast. Awesome. So, the bait I'm talking about here, you guys saw me just tie it on. This is a number 7 Rapala jig and wrap right there. Then here's that big plastic fin I was talking about on the back right there. And then one thing I do to this lure is I always upgrade the belly hook. Okay, the belly hooks on these are really small. So with trout, I like a little bit larger hook for a higher hooking percentage, and that there is a VMC hybrid treble. These things are wicked deadly. They're just so sticky. Great hooks. They've got that extra wide gap, so it really helps, penetrate those fish and give you more meat once that hook gets into them, to hold on to them so you don't lose them, because the trout do all these crazy movements under the ice, and they roll and they shake their head and they run super hard. But that's awesome in a cool, like a green, really like a lime green perch pattern. And trout eat a ton of perch, which I don't think a lot of people know. They eat obviously a lot of ciscos and open water bait fish as well, but trout eat a ton of perch, and perch are a lot of times roaming out in the flats and deep areas as well, just chasing those perch. and with those black perch bars on there, it really helps imitate a perch as well. But that was freaking awesome. So you guys can see when I snap this jig, the last 2 jig strokes there, you can see the persistence, and that's a setting on this Mega Live unit that basically kind of leaves a purple smoke trail showing, you know, where the bait was, and kind of also shows you which way the bait's, the direction of either the fish is going or your lure is going. But you'll see the little persistence come back. When I snap my lure, it'll come back, and then the bait's there, and you'll see it kind of scoot over to one side or the other. And then that's the transducer actually following the bait and seeing it move from left to right or right to left. You know, showing you that that bait's actually moving and making those big kind of figure eights or circles down there and giving you some horizontal movement versus, you know, normal lures you're just working with horizontal or vertical, I should say, in a ice fishing scenario. So here's a fish on the shallow side. See him coming in here. Oh, he wants it. Got him. That was sick. So we watched that fish come in. Oh, he's right at the whole bottom of the hole already. We watched that fish come in on the Mega Live from the shallow side, and I always pace my transducer from deep to shallow, and I'll explain why here once I get this fish in. But that's so cool, the able to, with this forward-facing sonar and this live sonar, to be able to see the fish. I mean, that fish when I first saw him was 25, 30 feet behind me, which is really close to shore, probably 10 feet offshore. But that was awesome. We seen him kind of cruising nice and slow, and you could see exactly when he decided he wanted to chase this bait and come and eat it. He just kicked his tail and just came smoking over, and you could see that purple smoke trail that I just talked about on the persistence mode, like when we're watching our bait, you know, kind of come back to center of that fish just shooting over and then coming up and just crushing it. That was awesome. All right, buddy. I don't know how big he is. Feels decent. Probably similar to the last one. I don't think he's not a big one, but so much fun. I've always said with lake trout, I don't care how big they are. The way they chase those baits like that is just such a riot. Yeah, he's a little bit smaller, but he's got that jig and wrap on that replacement hook. Easy, buddy. You don't want a hook in the hand. There we go. Now, this is a perfect case in point for that hybrid treble that I added onto the belly here. And you'll see that this fish is just hooked by the belly hook, and that extra wide gap, we really only got one barb in them, and that extra wide gap helped pin them. And the barbs on these hooks are awesome. They do such a good job of keeping them pinned once you do hook them. But having that wider gap hook on the belly for trout is so important. This guy's a little bit smaller than our last one, but we're 10 minutes in and we got 2 trout in the ice. Awesome. Put him back. There he goes. And it's really simple, guys, to change out that belly hook. Basically, all you need is a small pliers, and then all you need to do is bend open this little key here on the bottom. Bend that open just slightly, just enough to get your hook out, and then you'll slide that one off, put the new one on, and then you'll just pinch it back together with a normal split ring, or a split ring pliers, or a general pliers is the easiest tool to use. That was cool. So this, guys, is how I like to have my holes set up. Is I like to drill a separate hole just for my Mega Live, the pole, and the transducer, and I like to have my own separate hole here just to fish out of. Then I don't have to worry about pulling the deucer out, and then I just place my graph here in between. But the important thing is you'll see which way I have the pole pointed, and that is shooting right here towards shore. And basically the break line runs like this and getting deeper, so this hole is shallower than this hole. I like to run my transducer that way because it eliminates any kind of false bottom. If you guys ever heard me talk about false bottom, it's basically where your transducer is on a super steep edge, and it can't really tell where bottom is. Then the one side of the transducer bottom might be here, the other side of the transducer cone, the bottom might be way down here. Okay, and you'll get kind of a weird gray area that you can't really see anything. So I like to point my deucer from deep to shallow, or shallow to deep, and then fish on that angle so that I'm getting the clearest picture as possible with my unit itself. fish. Oh, he sees us. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, loose drag. Got him. Oh, he chased it for so long. Oh, I must not check my drag after that last one. Now I gotta loosen it up. That was so sweet. He came in so like nonchalant, and then I seen him, I pulled away a little bit, I saw a little bit of aggression out of him, and then he was just chasing. It's like, he's just gonna be lazy, not do it, but he kept coming, so I just kept reeling, and then he ate it. I don't know, he must have chased it 30 some feet vertically before he ate it. That was so freaking cool. Oh, that was awesome. I didn't think that one was gonna do it. At first it looked good, and then when he kept just coming up and up and up, I'm like, nah, he's not gonna do it. I have to give him the fall, get him on the drop or something. But he kept coming, so I just kept reeling. Oh yeah, I think it might be a good one too. You gotta be so careful and watch your drags when it's cold out like this, because everything gets really tight, and then you fight a fish and everything kind of warms up, and then you just always gotta be checking your drag, and that was totally on me for not checking my drag and making sure that everything was where it needed to be. Feels like he's wrapped up. There we go. Just love trout. They're so much fun. They're so interactive. If you've never ice fished for them, see if there's lakes near you that have them, and go give it a shot, because it is just, all other ice fishing is just irrelevant. I could care less about anything else that swims under the ice, but trout, I'll fish for them all day. Come on, buddy. I think it's a pretty good one. I can't move him a whole lot. Here's our leader. Come on. Let me see it at least. Feels like a good one. Just a lot of just weight. There's some air bubbles. The burp bubbles. This is awesome. We'll go, I'm just gonna focus on getting this fish in, but I want to tell you guys about this rod if you haven't heard me talk about it already, because it is absolutely amazing, and in my opinion, the ultimate trout rod. It's so awesome. This is a 45-inch Pro Graphite from Thorn Brothers, and you can make them whatever length you want. They're all made to order, custom, one by one. I like 45 inches. Some people like them longer, some people like them shorter. But this blank itself, this is a graphite blank, so it's super sensitive, it's super light, and it's great for trout that are, you know, say 1 to 20 pounds, which are a lot of the fish that I deal with here in northwestern Ontario. And it's great for those fish. If you get anything bigger than that, or you get any lures, I would say, that are over like 1.5 ounces for your weight, I'd suggest people to get what's called our Pro Glass, and that's a fiberglass blank. It's a lot heavier. It can, you know, take a lot bigger lures where your rod's not overpowered, and then also it fights as big a lake trout as you can find. It does a lot better job of fighting them. But this Pro Graphite for these fish, it's not overkill. It's fun. The action, this is so awesome. You see how moderate and the slow taper that this rod has in it for an action, and it does a great job of just keeping these fish hooked when they're fighting and doing these big head shakes and all the crazy things that trout do. But then you got your backbone basically from here back that allows you to get a really good hook set and then lean on them a little bit if you have to. But the blank is so forgiving, and there's such a wide amount of action there that it does a great job of keeping these fish hooked. I just want to see this thing because he's feeling bigger and bigger. They should. Come on, buddy. I can't even see him yet. That's the biggest trout of the year, hands down. Come here. Oh, his jaw's caught on the ice. Come here. Oh yeah! Oh, yes! Look at that freaking thing. Oh, and he wasn't coming off. He literally has all 3 hooks. His jaw is pinned open. He's got the top hook, the bottom hook, and that hybrid treble. Look at that thing. Big, dark toad. He's not that long, but he's just deep. Oh my gosh. What a fish. What a freaking fish. Oh, that was so cool. I'm gonna need the pliers for that. Oh, there's another one down there. Boom. Jig's out. Jig's in me. There we go. Get that out of the way. Guys, look at this fish. That is a freaking beast. That's an awesome fish. Wow. Like I say, he's not that long, but he's deep, he's heavy. I'd say he's 14 pounds or so. That is just an amazing, amazing fish. Wow. So cool.